Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. Michael Zuber, one rental at a time, back with the one and only Dion from Dion Talk. How you doing, buddy?
Howdy, doing great. I'm really excited about this topic because of all the hard work we do.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's funny that we bring up the notion of hard work because you had the second most watched Bigger Pockets video, I believe, of 2021, second only to Robert Kiyosaki. So, hey, if you got to be in second, that's an okay one to be in second too. But your episode, as I recall, had something to do with lazy, right? The lazy landlord or lazy investor. And what I want to talk about here is the fact that the powers that be, lied to you. And what they lied to you about is hard work will not make you rich. I mean, at least for all of my youth, I was told, beaten, it was almost gospel like hard work would make you rich. And I've come to realize that that is simply not true. What do you think of all that?
So I have two ways to relate to it. One, from my family, and I've talked about this a couple of times. I joined the Marine Corps because that was easier than the family business. Like,
I want you to say that again. Boot camp was
was
easier than what your family did. Okay.
yeah, my father and two of my brothers, all three of them owned residential tree services. So they did logging and residential arborist work. And I was the youngest of 13, if you like put all the people together. So I was the manual labor. And the Marine Corps was just so much easier. I couldn't believe there was a time of day that you stopped working and you could sleep. It was so weird. So my family, we would go and do tree work at really nice houses. There's these McLennan ranches in Southern California where movie stars, I can't remember their names, but we went to several actors' houses and actresses' houses to work on their trees. And my family would look on them with disdain.
Oh, wow.
The actresses, the actors, the actresses, the people, the white collar workers, anybody who made money that wasn't sweating for it. Just the disgust that somebody wasn't working hard to make their money. So I was literally raised with hard work is the way to succeed. And they did. They all worked really hard. One of them invested in real estate and retired. So he finally stepped away from that. My dad literally worked until 75 when he died on a job site. That was just the
Wow.
way the family
Yeah.
did things. So
Okay.
I was kind of ostracized for joining the Marine Corps, getting into law enforcement, like getting a job where you prepare, you work out to sweat, but you're not producing something while you're doing that. My family just didn't understand it.
Okay.
So that's the first way to understand I was lied to, because if hard work made you successful, all three of them, my family members who ran those businesses, might have retired at some point.
Right.
The other way is the school system. We're literally rewarded with an A to F system based on what you can memorize. The harder you work to remember things, the better grades you're going to get, which has never once benefited me in the workplace or in my ability to make money. We've definitely been lied to.
Yeah. And again, right, it's one thing, both of us now being over 50 and kind of looking back over our careers, understanding what we've put together now, retiring early, making work optional in relatively short time. Nothing we did was hard work. It was consistent. It was some choices. It was being uncomfortable, but none of that was work. None of that was work. And I think everybody's being lied to. There's a lot more things that you could accomplish if you can step back and realize that selling hours or sweat or blood is not the only way going forward. And it should be talked earlier, but again, it's not in our school system. Moms and dads, aunts and uncles, brothers and sisters, you need to help educate the next generation and that you don't have to sell hours, 1 hour at a time.
So I had those two versions of being lied to, that hard work is what pays off. Here's what happens after we finally realize that that might not be the way to go. I talk about being the lazy investor because I was working full-time, raising 3 kids, had some side hustles. And it sounds like you can get into real estate and you can really work hard. You can become an agent and you can hustle 20 hours a day and you can build a client list and you can do leases until you finally start to do sales or whatever the path to it is. Or you can do mailers You can hire skip tracers. You can contact wholesalers. You can do all of these things. Here's what I did. For 2 years, I moved into an apartment and rented out my house. That was it for 2 years. That was all the real estate investing, anything I did. I worked hard. I worked overtime. I did side hustle work to make money. So that was hard work. But the investing part was for 2 years, I lived in an apartment. Then I bought a duplex, one duplex, and lived in it for 2 years while I saved for the next one. So 4 years, one transaction. Then I bought another one at the 4th year. Now the income started to come in. House rented out, saving money on house hacking, duplex cash flowing. The next one happened in 1.5 years. So we're at 5.5 years to do 3 things. That's why I call myself the lazy investor. There were ways to probably do it faster, more risk, more effort, but in less than 10 years, buying one rental every year or 2, you can reach financial freedom. The average person can do it. And that's why I think the lazy way of calling it the lazy way for me is because you're right. It wasn't hard work. I think the hard work in real estate came from self-education more than the actual work itself. Making an offer, it's a text, maybe an email to an agent with what I want their offer to have, and then 36 button pushes on a DocuSign, done. Like that's the amount of work that goes into that.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, I think this is, one rental at a time is that kind of lazy way. I talk about it all the time. Once you get to 4, you have some choices. And again, it could be 1 every 2 years for 8 years. And maybe house hacking is the right answer. So I just think we all have been lied to. I really do wish house hacking was brought early in the school system. If I had a magic wand, I would make it an elective in the 2nd semester of your senior year when nobody's really paying attention anyway. You could be done by 25. If you were an 18-year-old and you had a job and income coming in from whatever you were doing, you could house hack something and, doing what Matt does, a 4-plex and then a triplex. And by the time you're 26, 27, own 10 units and be done for the rest of your life. Talk about the right way to go. So yeah, we've definitely been lied to. It's not about work. It's not about effort. It is certainly about knowledge. I will say it's about a plan. I will say it's about sacrificing or being uncomfortable for a little while. But it's not hard work. This is a pretty well-proven path. You and I basically did the same journey with a little bit of twists and turns that are different, but it wasn't hard.
I'm not sure how PC this is, but there's a quote I like that I hear often. If hard work made success, coal miners would own everything.
Yeah, no kidding.
Imagine work that's harder than that.
Oh, no thanks.
Right.
Yeah.
No thanks.
No thanks. Yeah. Well, Dion, this has been a fun conversation, folks. Again, you've been lied to. Hard work is not a guaranteed for success, and it certainly doesn't guarantee you being rich. People need to follow you, Dion. Where is that?
They can find me really easy, nice and lazy here on YouTube. Dion Talk Financial Freedom.
Awesome. Thanks, buddy.